Well, it's the third day of the second week of group stages. I'm joined by Doa, who has recently been named simply the best caster. And of course, because of that, I had to do an interview with you to congratulate you on the award. No, what happened? Because you weren't even supposed to be here, and now you're here.
I'm actually not terribly sure what happened behind the scenes. I mean, I was informed originally that I wasn't going to be casting. I was like, all right. I started looking into other events that I could be doing during this time, and they came back to me a few weeks later, said, "Are you interested in doing the event still?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course. It's Worlds. Why wouldn't I be?" And so here I am. Yeah.
Now, what parts of it are you doing?
I'm doing the group stages here in Paris, and then I'll be doing one of the quarterfinals in London, and then I'll be heading back to Korea. So as far as I know, that's it for me.
Now, what have you thought of World so far? Because at least last week it was really crazy. This week we were just kind of commenting on the fact that it's been a little bit slower. But what's your take so far?
Well, I mean, last week was crazy just because of all the upsets. Like, nobody expected C9 to do that well. Nobody expected Origin to do that well. Nobody expected LGD to do as badly as they're doing. And so coming into week two, everyone was like, well, is it going to continue being this way? Or are these teams like LGD that should be playing better going to come back and everything kind of has stayed the same? So I think people are looking for a little bit more excitement out of the games because everything's kind of progressed the way you would think they would after week one.
Now, I believe, when I interviewed you at MSI, we kind of had this discussion as well, but especially for an event like Worlds where you're walking in on basically 16 different teams from all these different regions, a lot of people have an issue with this whenever they're focusing on one game, but you obviously are, doing stuff within multiple esports titles. What was the preparation like for you and like getting in or did you already have that all in your mind?
I mean, anything with esports, and really, I would say most jobs on Earth are just preparation. I mean, it's 90% prep. So if I know I'm going to be doing something in advance, which ideally you do, you have enough time to break things down and prepare. I constantly working to get my scheduling a little bit better as far as like my time management, preparing for all this stuff because it is tough. I mean, you're coming in all these teams, some of them you've never casted before. I did Katowice and I did MSI this year, so I had a little bit more familiarity with the teams as far as like actually casting them in game than I would have otherwise. But yeah, it's still a lot to pick up. But I think for me, coming from StarCraft 2 into League of Legends, once I like started doing League of Legends, I realized, hey, you know what? I can like cast any game as long as I have enough time to prepare. Then you're really not afraid of taking on anything at that point. It's like just throw it at me. I can handle it.
Do you just board the plane and then you kind of open up a briefcase that's been handed to you and there's like a folio on everything and then it like self-destructs at the end of the flight?
Yeah, it's like a cassette tape because I'm like really stuck in the 90s, and it's like this is your mission if you choose to accept it and all that. And luckily I dive out of the way at the last moment and it like blows up the bathroom I'm in or whatever.
And it says this is your mission if you choose to accept it, and then it just gives you statistics slowly and monotonously throughout the whole thing.
That's right. And I
Yeah.
ignore them all. I ignore all the statistics and I just make jokes about cartoons I watched.
Catfisting, I think.
That's that was Monty. That's yeah, but catfisting. It's the new, I don't know, noodling. It's the new way that you like move into the base and see if they jump on you. It comes from the catfish method, where you stick your arm into like a hole in the riverbank and see if a catfish bites and you pull it out. So there we go. New League of Legends terms. Born at Worlds.
Is this only Tom Kench games?
That's where it started, but I think it can apply to any situation really. I mean, what's the wrong situation for noodling really?
And we're talking about not just in League of Legends, but across all esports titles and even more broadly, I think, right?
Yeah, you can find a way to apply it to anything really, I would say, if you work hard enough.
More of a life philosophy, I think.
If you work hard and stay in school, don't do drugs, you can work noodling into any conversation.
Now, I mean, we certainly did in this interview. You're going to see Thorin, and we're both going to see Thorin in London. He's going to be there for a little bit. You actually see him, I think, all the time in Korea, right? So is it almost too much now?
No, I don't see him really all that much because he's traveling for a lot of Counter-Strike events and things like that too. So, I mean, I probably catch a drink with him maybe once a month or something like that. But really not a whole lot. I mean, we're all like super busy in Korea. It kind of sucks actually because we all used to get together like at least once a week and play board games and things like that and hang out like a lot of us English casters in Korea. And this year it's just gotten so busy with basically like everybody doing more than one game now. And yeah, we don't have time to do anything anymore.
It's rough. Did you see the whole BBC announcement with D-Man and Stress casting? What are your thoughts on that? Because just from a caster perspective, about seeing something like that on one of the bigger networks.
Are they actually casting it? I think they're just doing like coverage, like interviews and things like that, from what I understood. But
My understanding was that they were going to be doing some sort of like commentary, like there would be kind of a specific stream for that. But maybe I'm incorrect on that.
I mean, we'll wait and see. It's always good when esports gets more exposure, and whatever the BBC has worked out, I'm sure they've worked out along with Riot. So I would imagine nobody's really stepping on each other's toes, and I think it's great. I mean, obviously, D-Man is a super popular guy in League for good reason. He's like one of the best play-by-play casters to ever live. So yeah, I'm excited to see him involved, and I think the fans will get a lot out of it too.
Let's kind of just round out the conversation by addressing some of the incredibly positive feedback. I mean, I think this has happened at all the big stops that you've had, but any thoughts on just sort of the love that you've been seeing from social media?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's hard to, I guess it's hard to kind of grasp. I've always had trouble receiving compliments because I'm like, oh, I'm not that great. I listen to a cast and I only hear things I could do better. So to see stuff like that, it's just hugely humbling and hugely honoring, and I feel great to see that from the fans. And I don't know, it just makes me want to work harder and keep doing whatever it is that people like, I guess. The one thing I will say is that what I really don't like is going to those threads and seeing it as an excuse for people to rip on other casters. I really wish people wouldn't do that. So if you're doing that, stop it. If you like a caster, that's great. You don't need to use that as an excuse to rip into other guys, please.
Very good. Yeah. Besides that, is there anything that you would like to say to any of the fans out there, anybody watching your casting at Worlds?
I guess thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all the support you've shown on social media. It's great to be here, and hopefully we'll be able to put on a good show for you.
Well, thank you so much for the interview again. Great to see you here at Worlds. Looking forward to you casting again in London. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of our coverage of all things Worlds at gamespot.com/LOL.